in this video I'm going to show you how to recreate this top. So you'll see I have fabric folded into two, which is my back panel, and then I have another one that is longer and wider folded into two. So if I open it up, you'll see the fold here. So it's folded into two like this, the same as the other one too. It's folded into two. So I'm going to take this is my back panel, place it on top of the front one. You notice that my front panel is a little longer by at least 1 inch at the top, right? And then is longer by 1 inch, and then wider by at least 3 inches. So now how I got the width of my back panel, which stops here, how I got the width is just my hip divided by 4 plus 1. So my hip divided by 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So now we are going to go up to the top, and then we are going to, everything I'm marking will be on this one, on the back panel here. So my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I've marked it here. So like I said, all my measurements are starting here by the center, and then I'm going to come down 1 inch of shoulder slope, and then after that I'm going to go down by my armhole divided by 2, mark it here, and then I'm going to connect it all the way to the top. And then after that I'm going to give it a curve here, and then from this line again of my back panel I'm going to mark where my waist is. So my shoulder to my waist is going to be at 17, almost here, and then the other is going to be, my hip line doesn't fit in here because the length I have here for the top is just 25, right? Don't mind, like I said, I'm not counting in the front. Just forget about the front panel. Everything is just on this back for now. So just like I said before, insert your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch. Do the same on your waist divided by 4, but instead plus 2 inches here, because we're going to be adding a dart. After that, you're going to just connect from your bust now all the way to the waist, and then from the waist you're going to connect all the way to the hip. And once that is done, the next thing is going to be to come up here by at least 2 inches, and then you're going to just try to make a curve into this line here, right? So now that this is done, this is going to have a cap sleeve, just so you know. And then we are going to go up to the neckline here and insert our neck, mark 3 inches here, and then after that we're going to connect it to the shoulder slope now, right? So now the next thing is going to be to so you could go ahead. I'm going to extend this line here just for now, just so on the 1 inch I left at the top of the back panel. So I'm going to also come down here for my back neckline by 1 inch, just so your basic back neckline, connect it like this, right? So now you can even go ahead and cut from here all the way into the shoulder and cut off the excess, everything out. So guys, this is what we are working with at the moment, right? So you would see I've gone ahead and cut off from the shoulder slope for both the front and the back. You see I cut it off. I just marked this here so I know where the tip of my front panel starts, this straight line, right? After just so I know where the 3 inches and where the shoulder slope cuts it off here. So I cut off this excess, cut off the side, cut off the one at the bottom. So all this can go now, right? So now the next thing I'm also going to cut off at this point is just the front, the back neckline. That 1 inch of neckline, we'll remove that also, right? And then after it's done, the next thing I'm going to cut here is just to mark up from the tip of our shoulder slope. You know that 3 inches mark we made, the tip of where this is, that's the point where we marked it upwards. We are going to take from that point again and mark it upwards towards the tip of this here. Now we're working on the front panel. I just don't want to remove this. Mark it all the way to the tip of this one here, right? So now that I've marked it, you can do 1.5, but you don't want to do too much, because the reason I'm doing just a little bit at the top here is that you'll notice that on one of the pictures, I'm going to insert it here, you will find that when they flip it over, when they flip the collar over on top of each other, it's not like choking the person on the neck. It's just right on top of the neck, right? Like when you cover the flap of the collar, when you cross it over. So, but normally when we're making flap collar, sometimes people use up to 4 inches. If you use up to 4 inches, it's not flap over like that. It's going to even cover your face, like go up to your face. So that's why I'm just trying to use about 1.5 to see how that goes, right? So after that, now I'm going to split it open in front here. So guys, once it's done, the next thing is going to be to mark from here to where you want your collar to stop, right? So I'm going to do 10 inches, which is here. And then after that 10 inches, that means I want my button to start at 10 inches. It's going to show some cleavage, but I don't mind that, right? So after that, I'm just going to come in here by 1.5 all the way down, 1.5, or you could do just 1 inch is okay. 1 inch is perfect. This is going to be my button placket here, right? And then after that, I'm going to connect from this point again to the tip of this here. You see? So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra on the side. If you want, you don't have to use the straight ruler for this part here. You can use like the curved part of your ruler. So I'm just going to trim off some of the excess here. So once you cut it, you also go ahead and cut off the one at the top here. Guys, if you want your flap to be wider, you can also do 4 inches wide here. Remember, I didn't do much wideness here, so you could do up to 4 to 5 inches here. Just the same 1 inch is what you're going to cut off, and then you're going to this part here is going to be even wider for you, but I don't want mine too wide. This is okay for me. That's why I did about 3 inches here, or 3.5, right? So now that this is done, you're going to go ahead and start to insert your dart, right? So you can just go ahead on the waistline. This is how I like to do mine. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark in my darts. So guys, this is my back panel here. So if I remove it, you see my dart here on the waistline here. So, and then at the top. So your dart is going to go from the one for the back is going to go from the waist and up to the armhole line, and then stop 2 inches before your hip line. That is it for the back here. So our back is just the basic bodice. And then for the front, if you open it up, you see my darts the same way at the bottom, but at the top is going to stop 2 inches before my nipple line. So now this is what my front panel is going to look like. Let me just put it so you guys can see. So you see, just like this is going to overlap, and then at this point here is going to turn over like so. Like I said, I didn't want to make a lot of collar, but a lot of this flap here. But if you want a wider flap, guys, go for like 4 inches or so. So you see, at this point here, at the 10 inches where each is going to overlap on each other like this. If I flip it over like this here, this is where the notch of my collar is going to fall over like so. And then this one here is also going to fall over like this here. This is the tip of my collar here. You see, it's not too wide, but I don't mind it like this. And then if I close it up like this, it's just going to fall over, just right on top of my neck like this, right? So now what we are going to do is put this back again, and you're going to go and get your Akara fabric again, except you want to use like black. It depends on you, whatever color you want to show on the inside of this. You might decide to make it different from what the thumbnail is and use a different color. But this part I'm going to cut now is going to be the color that would show. Because you see, when I flap over my collar is the wrong side of the fabric that is showing. But if you want a different color, like you can choose maybe like a green or like a black. It depends on you what you want. Whatever color that you want to show on the inside of your lapel now is what you're going to use to cut this piece. So now let me go ahead and cut mine. So guys, you see, let me show you what I did here now. I used brown. I'm trying something different for mine, right? If you want, like I said, use Akara. So this is the piece I cut here. So if you want to use lining to turn yours, then the rest of it here, at least ½ an inch going in. From here, this extra part remaining is going to be with lining. So you're going to cut this part here, this small piece here now, with the armhole part. Cut it out, but add ½ an inch so that you can use it to join this part of it to the body of this one, and then you're going to turn it over. as your lining, right? So because once you cut out something that looks exactly like this piece here, the colored akara you're seeing now with 1/2 inch here, you're going to join it to this piece, iron it out. That way you've had a whole piece of lining for the front panel, and then you go ahead and also cut another piece of lining with the whole thing for the back. You see, the lining in front, you might need to join 2 pieces of cloth together, but the lining for the back is just going to be exactly what you have here is what you're going to cut, right? So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and start to join my clothes. So first thing, the way it is now, I'm going to take it like this. I know where my shoulder is. You see where we stopped here before, like so. I'm going to take this one now, go to the shoulder like this, and then I'm going to join it shoulder to shoulder like this. So using 1/2 inch, take the other side of it, the same thing, turn it around like this, and then I'm going to also go ahead and join the other shoulder to shoulder like this again, right? Once it's done, and then I'm going to turn it around, take one piece of this here, this flap that I made for my turnover, and then I'm going to take it using 1/2 inch. I'm going to join the upper part here from this part here, join it. Like I said, you can use 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, join it like this, and then sew all over from the edge all the way down across. If you use lining to join yours, like it has a complete piece of lining, you're going to also go ahead and join the same thing all the way to the bottom part here. So guys, but if you're using a lining, right, you're not going to first join the 2 back panels together. You can join the lining pieces together first, iron it out, your lining of your back to the lining of the front, the lining of the like join all the lining pieces you have together, the back piece to the front piece, everything, and then you spread it out, and then you can then sew the edges together. You understand? So guys, the first thing you're going to do is to get your waist measurement. Mine is 36. I'm going to add plus 6 inches to it. The 6 inches is because of my zipper allowance and the 2 pockets I want to have by the side, right, on each side. But if you don't want to have that, then you can just do your waist divided by your waist plus just 2 inches. That's the extra 2 inches is going to be the zipper at the back of your skirt. So this is what I mean here. So this is my waist here, plus the 1 inch here on each side for the pocket on this side, pocket on this side, and then the zipper at this side. This is the front, this is the back, this is the side, this is the side, right? So that is 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch. So that's why I did 36 plus 6 inches, right? So to that is going to be 42. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go ahead and do 42 divided by 3.14. So whatever you get, for me, that is going to be about 13 inches, right? So to this 13 inches, I'm going to add my skirt length. So it depends on you what you want your skirt length to be. So your skirt length could be all the way to the floor or all the way like mid-calf. So for me, my skirt length is just 30, just a little below my knee. So 30 plus 1.5, 1 inch of hemming the end and 1/2 inch of joining the waist to the band. So probably that will leave me with so 31.5. So 31.5. So I'm going to add it to this 13 that I have here. So let's say I have 44 or 44.5. So I'm going to make sure that when I fold my fabric, you will see there's a fold here on this Akara fabric. This end here is folded. So I'm going to make sure that the fold here is 44.5, right? So now we are going to go ahead and cut our skirt. So to cut the skirt, to make it easier for you, you're just going to take one end here and fold it like this. So you see, when I fold it this way, I can be able to just cut it one time. So the first thing I'm going to insert here is going to be the 13. So I'm going to go from this point now and mark 13 all the way around. So guys, the first measurement I added is the 13, and then the next measurement I marked is the 44.5. So now all I have to do is just to cut. So guys, this is my skirt here. You see, I cut off the upper part, cut off the bottom part. This is the skirt. So if I open it up here, this is it. If I open it one more time, it's going to show like this is the skirt. So I'm going to make sure that this center back with the hem here is going towards the back for my back zipper, but then I still have to split it towards the side so I can be able to add my pocket. So to split it, I made sure to leave about 1 inch towards the end. I didn't push it all the way to the end of this here. I left about 1 inch here, right? So once you do that, now you can go ahead and split open this side so you can be able to put your pocket there. So guys, this is it here. So this is the front piece here. I'm still going to go back in using 1 inch to stitch back up the sides, right? But then when I come up to the waist, I'm going to skip 2 inches here. So as I'm sewing it, I'm going to close up the side using 1 inch of seam allowance, stop at 2 inches, and then skip open like about 5 inches here for the pocket, and then continue my seam all the way down to the end. So this is going to serve as pocket. And then once I hem it back up, the back, I'm going to add a band to the waist of the skirt. So guys, this is what it looks like at the moment. So you see, I decided to use brown for it, just to tone down the color a little bit. So this is what I did. Like I said, if you're using lining, your lining is going to come in here all the way to the back. You see, I use bias to finish up the back, and then I also use bias to finish up the bottom part here. The same here, I use bias to finish up the little piece going in towards this part here. Also the same on this other side. So now the next thing I have to do is, guys, you see how mine is looking at the moment. If I wanted this collar a little wider, I would have made it up to 5 inches. That way it's going to flap over and then curve in here. But like I said, I prefer it to be small like this. So this 3 is okay for me. Okay, so now the next thing is going to be to cut our cap sleeve, because it has a cap sleeve. So to cut the cap sleeve is just your basic sleeve. You make sure that the width of your cloth is so guys, you're going to just go ahead and draw a basic sleeve. So the length I have here is about 4.5, and you notice that there are 2 of them here. So I just folded it into 2 like this, turned it over like this. Make sure that the width here is the width of your sleeve, so whatever that is. So let's say that is 10. I'm going to go ahead and come down here by like 4 inches, which is my cap height. Connect it from this point to this point. Find halfway through this line. That's 5 inches here. Give it a curve here, and then a curve below like this, right? So it depends on you what you want your cap sleeve to look like. Some people, they will just stop here, right? Some people, they will just fit in everything. So what I'm going to do is from this bottom here, I'm going to go up by like, let's say, you can do up to 1 inch, but I'm just going to do half an inch or 0.75, and then I'm going to just blend it in towards the end like this. And then I'm also going to blend this upper part towards the end, and this is going to be my sleeve. So I'm just going to take it the way it is and then cut it from here. I'm going to also give it a notch at the top, and then cut out this bottom also. And then I'm going to just open the rest of the sleeve. You're going to cut out a lining like this, or you can also use bias to turn it over. It all depends on you, but I think I'm just going to use lining to flip mine. So cut a lining that looks exactly like what your sleeve looks like now, and then you're going to just join it only at the bottom, right? So let's say this is my lining. Let's say 1 piece is my lining, 1 piece is my sleeve. I'm just going to take my lining, cut it exactly like this, put it like this, right side facing each other. So close the end here, turn it over like this, iron it down, and then go to my sleeve here, join it all the way. Wherever the end of this stops, I'm going to use bias to finish up the rest of the sleeve and close up the side of the top. So guys, you see this is the top at the moment. So like I was saying, once you put in your sleeve, you'll notice that the end, towards the end here, is still remaining some. So I normally just use bias to finish it up, close up the side. So the same thing on this side. You see my lining here, the edge here, but the other part of it is tucked in at the upper part of the sleeve. So once you do that, you use bias to finish up, just fold the part and then close up your seam. So you see, once I closed up my seam all the way to the end here, I've also already used bias to turn over the end all over, stopping here. So right, I'm going to just put in my buttonhole here, and then there's button on this side. If you don't want to use colored, like I said before, just use the same fabric itself. And that is it for the top. And then the skirt, once you finish joining the two sides back, the space you left is for your pocket, the 5 inches I spoke about before. So once you put the pocket, you go ahead and get a fabric that is rectangular, at least 5 inches of width, fold it into two, make sure it's the waist, is your waist measurement plus extra 2 inches. The 2 inches is just for the zipper at the back, right? And then you put it round the waist of this here, and then insert your zip, and that is it. So this is my skirt at the moment. I've already made several tutorials on circle skirt, that's why I didn't pay much attention to that, right? So that is it for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.